What is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and today's show we are going to go over everything we've been talking about, all of the updates, including the national emergency declared by our president based on the tensions going on with Russia. Of course, I'm sure that's involved with China as well. We'll talk about all that and more with authoritative sources and everything to back it up right after this.
Coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you.
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and today's show is going to be a good one. First off, I just want to let you guys know that, of course, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, I, of course, want to bring you NordVPN. Today's show is brought to you by the Virtual Private Network, one of the highest rated in the world. Again, NordVPN, go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to help out the channel and to protect yourself against cyber threats. And then, of course, if you're missing notifications, you can always go to our website, marfooglenews.com, and actually get ours. We can send you a push notification directly to your phone when we go live. And lately, it's probably a good thing not to miss these lives. Now, everything we say here before you get in, if you're new here, we back up every single story, every single tweet, document, video, anything that we put here on the show. We are going to put the link, the source, a bibliography of sorts on our website. It's very easy to navigate the actual site. You look for this thumbnail, calling all carriers, but why? And then, of course, you'll see on the website, if I update it, you will see that on there is the actual show here. It says, why are we bringing them back? Which we're going to talk about, of course, at the same time as declaring a national emergency with the tensions there. He then pulls back our carriers to bring them back here. Why? We'll talk about that here in a bit, but you'll see on the website, it has all of the links. It's going to have all of the extra content. There is Too Hot for TV content on the very bottom. So again, this is the time that is taken to actually collect all of this and put that there is why I believe a lot of people end up going with us, rather than other sources, because we actually put this here and we put the effort into every single show. So thank you, everybody that has been here. I really do appreciate you. And if you do want to support on a further notice, you can find any of our affiliates on the right side of the page, or PayPal if you would like to say something or have a shout out during the show. That way you can also do that as well. All right, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So make sure you guys, we've been fiddling with the studio here and going to have some changes happen soon as far as better quality sound. Can you just let me know if there's any bad quality sound? That would be appreciated. It is a live show. Anything can happen. You guys have seen all sorts of things happen, from sound go out to my stage fall over. So just let us know, okay? And then, of course, let's get right into the news. This is going to be a jam-packed show. Taiwan president tells B's emissaries island will counter China's adventurous maneuvers with the U.S. Now, this says that Taiwan out of Reuters, this is from Reuters, says Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen on Thursday told emissaries visiting the U.S. President J.B. a request that the island would work with the U.S. to deter adventurous maneuvers and provocations. Again, that's adventurous maneuvers and provocations, which, by the way, I've never seen. I guess I've been spelling maneuvers wrong the whole time. Amid threats from Chinese military activities. It says former senior U.S. officials, including former U.S. Senator Chris Dodd and former Deputy of Secretaries of State Richard Armitage and James Steinberg, are visiting Taipei in a trip to signal B's commitment to Taiwan and its democracy. It says that Tsai told the U.S. delegation in a meeting at the presidential office that the Chinese military activities in the region have threatened regional peace and stability. It says, quote, "We are very willing to work with like-minded countries, including the U.S., to jointly safeguard the peace and stability of the Indo-Pacific and deter adventurous maneuvers and provocation." Now, Dex, we have kind of covered this over the last, well, I mean, we've covered it over 3 years, and, a lot of people didn't really see this coming. A lot of people don't even know what is happening in the world, and our audience, of course, you guys have been following this, and now do you kind of see what we were talking about, how this stuff kind of pops up? Now it is in the eyes of everybody, now that we declared a national, emergency, but nobody was even knowing about this, and we were talking about it beforehand. Do you know what I mean, Dex? Like, we've been ahead of the curve because of our audience. Our audience are full of military, and they're the ones that are, letting us know that this is what the beat is, I guess.
Yeah, and the one thing I think we do well with our audience, the Fugel fam as a whole, is we try to look for what they're not wanting us to see, right? There's always a distraction. There's always the headlines and the front page news that sort of distracts everybody away from what's really going on in the rest of the world. So that's what's, we've been following that. We're really good at trying to pick up on the things that they're not trying to tell us and make sure that we're aware of it.
Here's the thing, that anything that is on the front page, most of the time it is there for a reason. They want that to be there. We've even seen with, some of the stuff that has come out just recently. There was some exposés on certain technical directors of a certain media company. If you saw that video, Veritas did it. It is pretty shocking because he's just plainly talking at a lunch, talking about how they didn't have really anything to do, so they just kind of threw one to the wind with their story. So they just kind of made some stuff up, and they were, throwing up prayers, basically. If you're playing basketball, just throwing up prayers. And seeing if anything would stick. And if you see that, then you realize, how do these media companies work? Well, there's 6 families that own all of them, so of course they're going to have similar content, and all of those 6 families work together. They all communicate, they all talk, just like all of the media networks now, or all the social media networks. So it is very scary what is going on right now, and I think all of you see it. You are some of the smartest people in the world, I think, are in my audience. I really do think that. I believe that, we're open-minded, and we're not closed, and we're not listening to this kind of, this hogwash. I mean, you just have to go with your gut on a lot of this stuff. And sometimes people are just going to, call you cuckoo. And unfortunately, that's kind of what you have to do. You kind of have to go against the grain to, really go through all this. Because if you look at throughout history, we've seen stuff declassified that they have basically, completely changed history with all of these different, strategies to change our mind on things. Since the TV was invented, even, I was just talking to somebody else, just like how they're trying to get us to go over to new technology or say AI or brain Neuralink. Remember when, you wouldn't remember when the TV first came out, basically there was a 5% adaptation rate. Dex, do you, in fact, we had a conversation about this.
Yeah. So it went from like nobody having a TV to within 10 years, everyone having a TV. But if you, what was interesting is everybody adopted it because it was a great technology, right? And it brought information about. But what nobody realized was that this information would be used to program people, right? And so if we look back now, we would say, oh, wow, we just took that thing into our home and we glued our generations onto it over the years to the point where, what is programmed, literally programmed as programming on a television, is sort of programming our society, right? And so when we look back at that, if you'd have told everybody that's what's going to happen, nobody would have done it.
Well,
right?
And again, look at if they like the honest beer commercials or the honest car commercials. There's a YouTube channel that does those. Think about this: if they would have sold the TV to society as exactly what it was, do you think people would take it like, hey, this is going to alter humanity, it's going to program you to be a consumer and consume and obey and do all of these things? Do you think we would have taken it if they were completely honest? I don't know. I think that back when it was first starting off, I don't know if people would. And people didn't like TVs when they first came out. They said that's a waste of time. That's a waste of money. That's, why would you spend money on that kind of thing? And then, of course, within instantly, people got hooked. Same thing with some of the stuff that is coming up now. People are going to get hooked on future video games. I think regular people that don't do video games are going to get hooked onto these new kinds that are coming out. They're so realistic, and they trigger parts of your kind of endorphins that it's going to be insane. It's going to trigger dopamine that's just going to get people hooked on it. People are hooked on their phones right now. It's absolutely insane how hooked we are to our devices. And they've used it against us. Now, this is a scary part. Putin closes off access to the Black Sea after B's about face on Ukraine. So, of course, JB, our prez, basically came out and spoke live today. And to sum up, he said, Dex, what would you say about what he said? He basically kind of said that we are not on good terms, but throughout history, we've always found a way to kind of see eye to eye. Do you think that they were kind of crafting that speech to make people less panicked about it?
Yeah, I think they definitely were. And he did come across, in my opinion, as not being very stern. And in one hand, it wasn't very stern, but on the other hand, you could say he left it open in the sense that, hey, I did something, and if they continue to do what they're doing, which is we don't like, we're going to do more, right? So the proof in the pudding is, will he really do more? Like, we send ships in, but then we pull them back because, Putin tells us to do it, right? That doesn't really bode well for strength.
It doesn't look good to other countries, at least that's what they are saying. Now, it says Russian President Vlad took advantage of the B administration's decision to abandon plans to send 2 destroyers to the Black Sea by closing off the Kerch Strait, connecting Crimea to Russia. It says to foreign warships until next fall. How do they even do that? I mean, can they close their own parts of waterways and say, military can't come through here? That sounds kind of crazy to me. And then it says the action comes as Russia warned the U.S. on Tuesday to stay away from the area, quote, for their own good, after the B administration said that it was going to send 2 destroyers, the USS Roosevelt and the USS Donald Cook, to the Black Sea in response to Moscow's increasing its military presence near Ukraine. Now, they, of course, say that there's over 100,000 troops near the border. Of course, we have tons of sources on our website to back that up. As far as now, there's a lot of video coming out saying what kind of equipment is there. We've got, nuke equipment there. Now we have some pretty scary weapons all along both sides of the border. Ukraine is begging for the use of NATO's services. They're saying, hey, we need to get in NATO now. If you do not help us, we are going to try to arm ourselves with nukes ourselves, because that's really what they're asking NATO for, is their support and their back as a nuclear power, which they are not. And it says Putin will close the Kerch Strait beginning next week until October, blocking foreign war and conducting military exercises, including the U.S., the Ukraine Foreign Ministry said. It says the U.S. and allies slapped sanctions on Putin for illegally annexing Crimea in 2014. The B administration pulled back the 2 destroyers from steaming into the Black Sea after fighting intensified between Ukrainian and Russian-backed forces. It says in an effort to de-escalate the situation. So it was getting hot, and he pulled back. Now remember, I wonder if they're trying to salvage or not harm our ships. I also wonder, are they bringing them back for a certain reason? Now, carriers and destroyers are being moved around right now and supposedly going to be brought back. Are they going to be sitting off of our coast? Like, do we need them here? What do you guys think? I'm going to go over to the chat and say hello. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Stormy weather. Stormy weather just dropped a jet on DLive. A ninjet is the highest compliment you can bestow on somebody on DLive. Stormy weather, thank you so much. That is super appreciated. We are truly independent, and we do not have a multi-channel network. we are on our own. So thank you, Stormy Weather. That is huge. Says, flying by to say hi. Keep your eyes to the sky and the middle E. Much love ya all. Hey, thank you so much, Stormy Weather. Super appreciated. Again, I don't know if you were already on the list. We have some names that we'll shout out at the very end that are on that list. Thank you so much for doing that. And then we, of course, have NC Fightin' Willie. We've got Bear Claws, Dixie Doe, Mr. Coco. We've got Geisy, Toadman, Scooby-Doo Do-Right, and Sandra in Texas is in the house. Groovy Grandma says, love this news channel. The best. Thanks. Love much. With tons of heart emojis, which now every time I say I'm going to think of Tom McDonald. And N95 Hero did the same. I did not realize that was back-to-back like that. Marf, have you seen an old senile dog? What was that? With a wandering eye spin in circles chasing its tail. That's JB. But dollars instead of tail. So he's chasing the dollars. Hey, N95 Hero, thank you, and thank you again for both of you doing that. That is huge. Thank you for the massive support. We really do appreciate it. As you guys know, we've gone through a rough time this year, so thank you. And then DM Walken says, watching on YT. That is awesome. Thank you, DM Walken, and I appreciate that. So what do you guys think about this? I'm going to go to the regular chat, and then let's see here. It says, Amy Moon. Let's see here. B. Borrowed says, I thought we had to go through Congress to declare conflict. Speaking of the W word, well, we're not at conflict yet, and in fact, we're trying to avoid it, is what they're saying that they are doing. Let's see here. Howdy Dex, howdy Marf, Eric Zombow, and then of course Doji to the moon. He signed an executive order today on Russia. Yes, we're going to go over all of that. Mr. B and Putin dance to decide conflict. Yes. See, people aren't taking this seriously. They think that this is all going to, kind of blow over. It's a long game. We don't know. It's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. They're not going to keep sitting at the same level for forever. Russia and China both want to be number one, and I think that they even kind of talked to each other and said, maybe we can work it out. So I'm number one on this side of the earth, and you're number one on that side of the earth, and we'll split the thing, and screw the U.S. Who knows? That might be their thing. And honestly, in other countries, when you look at what the U.S. has done to others, some may even agree with that. There's a lot there to unpack. So again, just this last quote says, we have no desire to be in an escalating war with Russia, a senior administration official saying, who added that the White House doesn't want things spinning out of control. We do not seek a downward spiral. We can and think we can avoid that. And if you listen to the speech, he declared a national emergency based on what is going on right now, which, again, probably hit everybody like a brick to the side of the head. But he's at the same time, he kind of reiterated in this speech, wrote by others, that we've gotten this high before and we'll bring it back down. Do you believe that's going to happen this time? That's up to you. I think that we would have to let them have Ukraine and have to let China have Taiwan for it to be calmed down. And that very well might happen.
Well, in the downside to that, is specifically on the Taiwan side, is everything with semiconductors, right? You may not think, like, everybody here may go, oh, great, we're not entering into conflict. We came to a peaceful resolution, blah, 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 right? But in reality, what happens is all of a sudden we no longer have control of the most important component of the future of our evolution, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing these things play out so fast. It's incredible. And, people, even to get a couple days ahead of it is pretty amazing. Now, it says Russian military vehicles with invasion stripes descend on the Ukraine border. I'll let that soak in. We had drills last year that kind of said the same thing, but that was nowhere close to as real as this, because that was in a separate area, and it was just, from the planes. They saw this. Now, can you explain the invasion stripes? I think we went over this last year.
Yeah, so that what's happening is they're using a stripe that is very similar to what the Soviet army used back in the 60s when they invaded Czechoslovakia. So that's where the term the invasion stripes come from.
And isn't it to identify from the air? Is that right, or?
It may be, but the point was when they did that invasion, they used those stripes specifically as a style, and now they're repeating that style again when they're invading a land.
Yeah, this is pretty incredible, and you know that they do want that coast, they want that waterway, they want everything that goes with it. El Michelle, thank you so much for your support. Says, hi, Foogle fam. Anyone know where Yabba Dabba is? Chat's not the same without him. Thanks, Adam, Dex, and Mods. No, El Michelle, I actually haven't seen Yabba Dabba. Yabba Dabba Sexy, I believe. Have not seen them. And then Free Life Task, thank you for being on the leaderboard this week for support. We are open-minded, but not so open-minded that our brains are falling out. LOL. Who knows? Elon might try to change that. Jake Williams, thank you so much, says, my brother is definitely hyping up towards conflict. Let's just pray it somehow backs down. You know, I don't want this to happen, but, you know, sometimes at the same time, it's like you have to tell people what you really think. I believe in my heart that this is going to go south at some point. And I think that if everybody is prepared, then it will be 100% better. I mean, the thing is you can't really control everything around you, and you can't sit there and panic about everything around you forever. You have to face it, and you just have to realize that there's nothing to do. Honestly, it really comes down to the fear of death. If there was no fear of death, there would be no stress. The world would be completely different. It's that one fear, the fear of death, that changes everything. Especially, it changes our emotions. We're in denial about this stuff. We don't want this to be true because we are so far away from a world conflict that we don't know what that would look like. Most of us weren't alive in WW2. So when that did happen, those people realize that it can happen again, and it will happen again. It's a matter of time. It's not a matter of if it will happen again. Unless we evolve, and I've said this many times, unless we evolve overnight into a type 1 civilization and start, talking telepathically, we are going to have arguments. We are going to have human nature step in and make people pissed off at each other. We're going to trigger each other. We're going to piss each other off. And this is just how the world works. And it's happening right now. The signs are on the wall. So I guess you know what I'm saying? I don't want this to happen. I have 4 kids and, 3 small ones under 5 years old, 3 kids, a newborn. What happens if this goes down? It would be horrendous for us. So I don't want it. And I don't want to just say it to say it. This isn't to get people's attention. We get the same stuff. We get the same views on this channel. For 2 years, the last 2 years, we've had the same amount of people. And the only way we grow on this channel is through you guys sharing. So there's no reason for me to screw you so 2 weeks later you're pissed off at me. In fact, look at how many people have been here 3 years. It's because we have put all these signs together and we've shown you, and we've been right. And the only reason we're right is because we make sure to back up our work and we make sure to triple check ourselves. This is going to happen, in my opinion. It's just a matter of if. Technog says, times are getting interesting. LOL, have faith. I have nothing but, and it's practice. Practice makes perfect with faith. Jillian's Gems, thank you for your support. Susan Donahue, massive support. Thank you for stopping by. I've been hoping and praying for you that you were okay. Dear Adam, Dex, Mod Squad, and Foogle fam, I'm so grateful to you. A lady called in regarding creepiness on the New York subway. She'd sing a happy song in her head. I'd like to encourage all of you to dance the evil away. Evil hates happy. Hashtag Team Humanity. That is absolutely correct. Thank you, Susan Donahue, and I'm so glad you're here tonight, and I'm so glad you're okay. Able-bodied. Okay, it's time to pray up and prep up. Love the Foogle fam. Hell yeah, it is. All right, and then we have more than 100,000 Russian troops in assault vehicles painted with invasion stripes were headed to Ukraine's border Wednesday, intensifying fears of conflict between neighboring nations. The advancing forces include 1,300 battle tanks, 3,700 drones, 1,300 artillery, mortar units, and 380 launch rocket systems, according to the documents leaked to the Daily Mirror. Tensions between the countries have been escalating following the annexation of Ukraine's Crimea territory in 2014, an attempt by Moscow to keep NATO away from its borders. Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but support for the organization has risen in recent years, and the country has allied with many NATO nations, including the U.S. It says Kiev is claimed 14,000 people have perished in the ongoing conflict. So this back and forth over the border has taken lives. And many fear that Russian President Vlad believes that the CV is the right time to attack and control large parts of the country, according to the report. Dex, can I just that one statement right there? Is that not what we've been saying for the last year and a half?
Absolutely. We said it. We said, hey, this is the perfect storm, if you want to call it that. This is, if it could have been set up, then this could have been a setup. I mean, seriously.
Just to say that again, Putin believes that this event is the right time to attack and control large parts of the country, according to the report. Put it in chat if you remember us talking about this 6 months, even a year ago, that this would be the perfect time to grab. Why not? Think about it. Everything is weak. The economy is crashed. Well, it's crashing. People are denying that, but this is real. This is the 3 years ago we saw the movements, but everything was just dandy. Now we have this event that has changed the world and just screwed every economy around it. I mean, we're looking at, we're looking at a reset. And with a reset could also come extra lives for some crazy thoughts. The appearance of painted stripes on Russian armored vehicles headed for the front lines reminded military experts of similar stripes on tanks used by the army during the 1968 invasion of Czechoslovakia. The Mirror reports the stripes are used as a deterrent to friendly fire. That's what I mean. So if a plane's flying over, they see it. I knew it. We talked about this last year when they practiced, and they only do it for certain things, and they do it for the drills so the planes can fly over and they go, okay, that's our tank. Because when you're flying over, or even at night, sometimes it's hard to identify what you're, dropping stuff on. Daniel values stay informed, use different media sources. Absolutely. Use it, everybody you can. Use more than me. All right, so a message from our sponsor. I would really hope that all of you guys are already key to this, but we do have a lot of new people now. Make sure to check out an EMP shield. There are many different kinds of devices that these make. This company has not only helped DHS, DOD, but now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. This device, whichever one you get, say the car version, which is the most popular, grounds the signal before an EMP can fry your device. They also make it for your home, for your generator, for your solar system, for your motorcycle, for your RV, for your ham radio. They have a device for essentially every kind of thing that can be fried. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is a veteran-owned business, and it's also a business that, again, is Keystone tested, military standard. This is something that they're using, we should be using. We should not depend on somebody else. I've said many times, I believe that this should be something that every home should be required to put in when they sell it. I think that if you are renting a house to somebody, they should pay $6 a month for renter's insurance, that they would get something like EMP shield. Somebody just asked the other day if you can do this in an apartment. I did, but I had to go to my manager and I provided the EMP shield, and they did it in my building. We only had 4 units. If you have a bigger building, it might be a little bit harder, but they were cool with it and they actually appreciate it. It's still in that apartment. So if that is one thing, and then again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. The commission from that goes to us, and on top of a small commission, they're giving you a giant discount on top of their now sale. So everybody wins in this situation. We get to grow, we get to financially support ourselves, and then you guys get a huge discount on an awesome product that will actually protect you and possibly save lives. So thank you, everybody that has already gone and done that. Thank you for everybody that will go and do that. We humbly say thank you.
And Adam,
yes,
a little birdie told me that with the events over the last 2 days, that people in the know are calling them and their phones are starting to ring off the hook due to what's going on. So I just thought I'd put that out there.
So we've talked to Andrew. If you've been around long enough to talk to Andrew from EMP Shield, during the T-Man administration, they were called up, and they basically, the T-Man signed an executive order and said, we need to harden our whole grid. Why? Because they went to a meeting and they saw that. We showed you the NERC results, how out of 570 attacks, only 2 were publicized. All of the rest were reported to the Department of Energy, but none of them were passed on to the public. So just remember that. Now with solar winds, with the, of course, Pentagon and all 5 of the branches affected by that, I think it's a no-brainer. And if there's any way that you can figure out how to do it, even if you have to go around us, I would highly recommend it. Okay, and then Biden declares Russia threat national emergency, lobs sanctions. So President B on Thursday signed an executive order declaring a national emergency over the threat from Russia as his administration slapped new sanctions on the country. One thing I think is super weird is why even in the mainstream they're pushing away from what is going on with China and Taiwan. We're going to keep paying attention to China and Taiwan, even if it's heavily centered on Russia, because I think that, again, it's like even when we're looking at the back page stuff, now it's front page. What is now on back page again? We got to pay attention to that. Seraphina, thank you for your support. Christian Moore, thank you, says, B-Man not in charge. Generals know what may happen. Bringing everyone to protect us. Be ready and be prepared for anything. Love to all. God bless. Dang right. U.S. Department of State said it is expelling 10 officials from Russia's bilateral mission. Today, we announced actions to hold the Russian government to account for the solar winds intrusion, which they are now 100% saying it was them. I think there is a huge, huge story here that nobody knows. That goes back to Tennessee and all that kind of stuff. The 15-second countdown or 30-minute countdown. There's all sorts of weird stuff that happened. We'll leave it at that. Reports of bounties on U.S. soldiers in Afghan and attempts to interfere in the 2020. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said in a statement. The White House also released a letter to Congress stating that the president has issued an executive order declaring a national emergency with respect to the unusual and extraordinary threat to national security. What do you think that they're preparing for? There's a lot of people that are kind of off, out of the camera, out of the spotlight right now. People have been pointing that out. Even some of the mainstream media has said, where are all these people that are normally outspoken and on camera, and TMZ and everywhere else? I even heard that TMZ is having a problem spotting celebrities. Is that weird or what? Not really. KT Cleans a Lot says, shout out for the morbidly depressed. KT Cleans a Lot? That's sad. Morbidly sad. LG Gig, thank you for the massive support. What do you think about this? It just gets crazier. IP Ipman says, surrender now. GM Gonzalez, Richard Price, says, Afghan USA troops are being moved to somewhere else. Does anybody think the same thing? We're bringing our carriers back to our coastline. We're bringing our soldiers back. What is the why would we say, hey, we're going to end this 20-year thing, bring all these troops back, and then the next day all of this stuff goes down? Why? I'm sure we'll come out with a reason, right? Middle U.S. imposes wide array of sanctions on Russia for malign actions. Dex, what do you have to say about this one? It says, the United States on Thursday imposed a broad array of sanctions on Russians, including curbs to its sovereign debt market to punish it for interfering in last year's U.S. cyber hacking, bullying Ukraine, and other alleged malign actions.
Yeah, this is just the list of the sanctions that they're going through, and obviously, Russia's not going to be happy with this, and they already aren't. We know they aren't. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, this is one of the tools you have, in the throes of conflict, right? You start with sanctions, you have cyber, and then you get all the way to where you have regular conflict, which we hope to avoid. I don't see, it's really hard for us to think of something like the Ukraine being given to Russia peacefully by us. It's even difficult to think that when you look at the ties that our current administration has, with that country over the years. So it seems like this is one of those areas that we're going to have to stand up for, and it will be interesting. But the positions we've taken here in the last couple of days don't really show that, right? Like pulling the ships back. Now, part of me thinks in my mind, well, maybe if we were putting them in a position that we didn't realize when they mobilized this strait cutoff that they did, that could basically pinch off our part of our military or part of our Navy, which wouldn't be a good thing, and have them off on their own and not with no support. And it's only 2 ships, so maybe on that regard, it could have been the right move. But it certainly. There's a lot that we don't know what's going on, at their level, at the highest level. And there's a lot more coming in the next day or two.
So I'm seeing a lot of people say Ecto 1 and a few others. Somebody said that helicopters are flying low in Vancouver, or I'm sorry, VA. Dex, I've got 8 things going on and I look like an idiot. VA is
Oh, Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. I knew it wasn't Vancouver. That's why I said it. And then somebody else says lots of military flights flying. So somebody was talking about it on Twitter that the actual White House and a lot of these areas around there, D.C., had helicopters flying like crazy today. Is that true? Is anybody in Washington, D.C. that saw that? Please comment. And then here, I want to ask you guys a question here where... I want you guys to kind of participate here. Do you have a feeling that there is something hugely wrong with everything that's going on right now? Press 1 if you do, and 2 if you don't or don't know. If you feel like there's something hugely wrong right now, press 1. 2 if you don't or don't know. So, again, this was actually a post. What's funny is it pulled up my wife, Miss Marfoogle. It says, I think I was probably the copters I was hearing about route to West Seattle. So we have had Apaches and Chinooks. We had Apaches this morning and yesterday. We had Chinooks, what was this, the 13th? So 2 days ago. We're on the coastline. We're in Seattle. So we're where all this stuff goes down. Look at that. Blitz, 111111111 on. There are some 2s. I bet 10% of those 2s are just people that wanted to go against the grain because that's how our audience is, and that's awesome. But essentially, pretty much everybody agrees. Something huge is happening right now, and I think we should go with our gut. I believe that we are going to be told that everything has an excuse. I was talking to my mother-in-law recently, and for everything I kind of gave her on this... this thing she was trying to decide on about getting one and then a second later, if you guys know what I mean. Every piece of information, they said, well, that could be this, and well, this would be that. And it was almost like they looked at every negative to getting that thing, and throughout media, they pushed out the opposite thing. They gave a story for it. They gave an excuse. And that's what you see all the time. If they bring a scandal to the front, and expose it, people in their minds say, if you don't bring out a scandal, people never stop asking questions. But even if you just put it on a local news channel and people see like, oh, this happened and they exposed that there was something wrong, fishy going here, people immediately think like, oh, they're handling it, they're taking care of it, somebody is dealing with it. And they don't go, oh, I'm driven to go find this out, right? They think, oh, it's already, somebody else is doing it. When really, they just expose it and then nothing happens, especially in politics.
They announced today that there's going to be 3 officially. Requires 3.
Oh my god. The boost.
Three within a year.
So lots of crazy stuff that is happening. Obviously, everybody senses it. So, and we're also blacklisting Russian companies, we're expelling Russian diplomats, and we're barring U.S. banks from buying sovereign bonds from Russia's central bank. These are big moves. And then we, of course, have UK summons Russian ambassador over malign behavior in Ukraine. Just more and more is popping out every day. Britain's foreign ministry said that it summoned Russia's ambassador on Thursday to express its concern about the malign behavior by the Russian state and show London's support for actions announced earlier in the day by U.S. President JB. It says a Foreign Office official also stated that the UK's concern at the buildup of Russian military forces near the Ukrainian border and illegally annexed Crimea. It says these activities are threatening and destabilizing. Russia needs to cease its provocations and de-escalate tensions within line with the international obligations. Another big boom to it. So London is basically saying their support for it and saying that they've got a problem. Poland expels 3 Russian diplomats over cyber attacks. So it sounds like to me like they're finally just, they've said, oh, we think it's them. It seems like the whole world is kind of reacting to the solar winds, or at least publicly reacting and saying, oh, this is bad, when it very well could have they already knew that this thing was coming, right?
I also think it depends on which news agency reports it, right? It's interesting. Some media outlets will only stick to the cyber subject, while others will go to the Ukraine subject as a reason for, these calling the diplomats on the carpet or expelling them.
Exactly. Somebody, H.W. Liberty said, taking sides. Stiletto Czar, anything besides, I think Elon is the AC. Auden Pierce says, time to pray? ? I think you just got to take the question mark off. It says Poland has expelled 3 Russian diplomats in relation to cyber attacks carried out on the U.S. by the Russian Federation. The news of the expulsions came after the Russian ambassador was summoned to a meeting at the Polish Foreign Ministry on Thursday. The ambassador was handed a note informing him that 3 employees of the embassy of the Russian Federation were now regarded as persona non grata, owing to behavior detrimental to the interest of the Republic of Poland, the ministry said in a statement. It says Poland expresses its full solidarity with the decisions taken by the U.S. on April 15th and its policy towards Russia. So we're now seeing everybody kind of put their flag up and say, hey, we're going to take this side. This is a lineup. Dex, did we not see this before WW2?
Oh yeah, everybody grabs a side, and some people straddle it for a little bit till the end. But yeah, everybody grabs a side, and these are just examples of 2, and there's really going to be a lot more, and there already were others. So yeah, I mean, we could go through the list, but the allies are strong when it comes to NATO, when it comes to Europe, and the U.S.
So Ted Reed says, tell everyone that there are 3 bases in Canada with soldiers. Okay, so I can't confirm that, but what I can confirm is that they have a treaty, and I told you guys about on the other show. They have a treaty where the Canadian president allowed China to place soldiers there to protect their interest. If they owned land or if they owned buildings in Canada, that they were allowed to place troops or protection or whatever they see fit. And they do not. It's in the agreement that they do not have to let anybody know about it. They don't have to check with anybody before bringing troops in. They don't have to let local officials know. They don't have to let the government know. That's the weirdest agreement I've ever heard. I would see that would be a national security risk, especially since they're technically an adversary. I don't know how Canada looks at them though. Super weird, right? I can't confirm that. But what I can confirm is that now, as far as everything else that's going on, There's a few people that just said some really, really incredible comments. Everybody, it's scrolling by so fast. Oh, somebody said it's all a show. Even if it's all a show, I don't think you realize the people putting on the show are going to be in a cozy, comfy place when everything goes down. And I don't think that people realize that the military-industrial complex needs to be used, that these generals want to go to conflict. And when there is no conflict, they make a conflict.
On all sides.
I would say, Dex, to the people that say, oh, it's not, this is blown out. Do you think that there's not going to be another world conflict? What signs do you need to say, okay, maybe we are going to go to a third, conflict? Because maybe those people have said, oh, well, I've heard about the news and they said that this is coming for years and years, right? Everybody was pointing out posturing for the last 10 years. The posturing is getting to the point now after the CV. We know now that the entire financial system of the world is now about to just go, this would be the time.
And the writing's on the wall when it comes to China. I mean, Adam, we've talked about this, but we can see the history, right? They've claimed Hong Kong, they've claimed Taiwan, and they say it's theirs, and they want a reunification, and they want it back. And they will do nothing until it happens. They will not stop until that happens. And Hong Kong's gone, right? And Taiwan's next. And if you don't think that's real and you think it's a show, I mean, they're one of the biggest superpowers out there in the sense that, the size, the growth, the exponential capabilities that they've had over the last, handful of decades. That
their
they've
production,
grown dramatically, the production, everything, right? I mean, sure, you can say, the Navy's not as good as our Navy. Fine, but they have grown so much. They have done so much. They are probably the single biggest, threat on the globe against us and against democracy.
Just
right?
the other day, Dex, he said just yesterday or 2 days ago, they said to America, China said, we are now your equal. Do not talk down to us. And some are going to have that old school view that, oh, well, if it's made in China, it's this and that, or that they have a inferior military. I'm sure there's probably 50% of you that think that they are totally inferior and they've got nothing compared to us. If they have hacked and accessed all of our blueprints and everything that we had secret, including top secret stuff, and were then able to use the same materials, what would make the difference? Because they have better manufacturing here? Because China is the manufacturing cap of the world. They have now been dependent on by so many countries. All of these countries gave them basically the opportunity to be the manufacturer. See, the thing is, China can grab a boat company and go, hey, you guys have a 2-mile facility here. Tomorrow we want you to start making tanks. And guess what? There's no like, oh, well, I want to appeal this decision. You make tanks. You don't make boats. You no longer make boats, buddy. You make tanks. That's how it works there. It's not like here, if you owned a boat company and the U.S. government says, well, we want you to do this. I think we could technically, but we'd have to do some sort of thing. But there's no argument and there's no backlash. You're in China. You have to do what they say. They are manufacturing so much and so fast. How could people not see that this is coming and this is coming fast? I guess what we're hoping for is this not to be a hot conflict where actual coastlines are being, taken. And I guess I would almost rather have somebody charging up with, this than a big boom that just you don't even see coming. I would like a fighting chance, I guess.
And we've been training for dark, right? I keep going back to that. Like, we're training for the dark. We're preparing for the dark. That we don't train for. We try to train for every possible scenario, but we didn't just do a little training on this. We did a lot of training.
We're still doing it.
And we're still doing it.
Is there any military in the audience right now that has done night training or knows about the night trainings that are going on. So every base has a separate kind of separate training for this. And it is training without GPS. It's training without electricity. It is training in urban environments, training underground. This is going on. It's been going on for the last 3 years. Why? Devin Watkins. And then we've got Edward M. Putt says training, ? Oh, yeah. And Dex, can we try to find a couple articles to talk about the night training for those that there's a lot of new people here. We will show you 100% undisputed proof that our entire military in every branch is preparing for no power, no GPS, lights out. And they're preparing they are getting EMPs for themselves, EMP protection, and they are preparing for electronic conflict and cyber conflict. And look at what happened last year. Solar winds. And why do they call it solar winds? Or why did it happen to be solar winds that happened? Truth Seeker, I believe, I agree with you. Terry, what's going on? Bugnana. And then Sassy Lass, thank you. Massive support of the channel. If anyone doubts that something epic is around the corner, look no further than the recall for proof. With the current candidate pool, they're pulling out all the stops to distract us. Absolutely. Thank you, and thank you. Sandy Bollinger, thank you. Dwayne Ball. Sounds like somebody I swear do I know you? That's a very unique name. VR, war equals money, and this is all about resources. Yes, VR, and it also could be about land that has that resource, that money. Adrian Maldonado, thank you so much for your support. Angelia says, God bless. Of course, we have Loyal to the Foil, Serafina, Christian Moore in the house. Thank you so much. Pink Flamingo, Peter Souza, thank you. Massive support of the channel. VR says, this event goes much deeper. The Russian-speaking people of the provinces want to be reunited with Russia. There's been discrimination against them in Ukraine. Look deeper. Thank you for the comment, VR. I definitely appreciate that. The solar winds came blowing in from across the R3D S3A. It lingered there, touched your hair, and effed me. Sir Budrick, I will probably take a couple days to figure that one out. Hi, Adam. Did you get the cowbell? God is the big blanket in the sky. He's got us covered. This is my screen name. Yes. I actually did a story on that, and I probably have it here somewhere. It might be upstairs because I did a video with it. But if you haven't seen that, it was a YouTube story. I'll do a video with it because I really did appreciate that. Eric, the original copper-colored Aniwa, says it's gearing up for the great that button that you push on Nintendo to start it over. Texas Janet Garden and Prep says today in San Antonio, active security open gates for people to rush in. What was smuggled in? Eyes open for Freddy. Fantastic. Absolutely. Free Life Task, there's only one possible world conflict will be avoided, and that is if everyone sits back and lets China and Russia take over the world. Actually, you're probably right. There is no political solution for a country with a spiritual problem. Quote Steve Quayle. Interesting. Ukraine mulls nuclear arms if NATO membership is not impending. Like we said, they're saying that they're going to arm themselves if they do not get help from NATO. We can put this in the website, marfooglenews.com, so you can have access to it. That will be right there on the website. And then if you do want to protect yourself from cyber threats, I highly, highly, highly recommend going over to NordVPN. Again, NordVPN is one of the highest rated and easiest to use. In fact, we picked this for the ease of use. All you have to do is download it, and then once it's done, you basically press on or off. You can go at more advanced routes and pick where you want your IP address. You can go put yourself somewhere else for region-locked content on Netflix or locked websites that are blocked from whole countries. But otherwise, you will also be protecting yourself against cyber threats. What it does is it hides your IP from everybody. It stops data logging and all sorts of other things from governments to people to your neighbor. And it protects you on Wi-Fi. So if you use, say, Starbucks or, Target Wi-Fi when you're in the store, this would protect not only your computer, your cell phones, your tablets, your kids' cell phones. You can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN to get a huge savings and help the channel at the same time. Thank you again. That's marfooglenews.com/VPN. And then Russia says Moscow will respond to U.S. sanctions, summons U.S. envoy. Dex, over to you.
Well, we knew it was going to happen, right? Like, you can't just throw sanctions at them and expect them to be like, oh, we're sorry, we're going to pack up and go home and put our toys away. No. That's not how they're going to play. They're out for to continue doing what it is they're doing. They're trying to annex more land. They're trying to protect themselves against NATO. They're trying to get back what they think was rightfully theirs. Ukraine split off from them after the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yep.
So being able to reclaim that is part of their mission, right? And us throwing sanctions at them is just another, a punch, and they're not going to ignore it. They're going to throw one right back.
Absolutely. It says that Russia's foreign ministry said on Thursday it was unavoidable that Moscow would respond to new U.S. sanctions and that it had called Washington's ambassador in Moscow for tough talks. U.S. Prez on Thursday authorized his government to sanction any sector of the Russian economy, including moves that may restrict Russia's ability to issue sovereign debt, to punish Moscow for interfering in the 2020 allegations, of course, which they deny. Wars and rumors of wars. Pray up, everyone. Truth is out there. Thanks for your support. Thank you for being here almost every show. Lisa K23, thank you as well. Lou 40, thanks for being here. And Truth is out there. Thanks for gifting out subs to the channel to them. And then Lou 40
again. Did you see
again.
Truth is out there's jet?
No, I did not.
So that was another jet. So
you guys, seriously. Can you read it, Dex?
Yeah, truth is out there. Everyone can bring happiness, one small act of kindness at a time. And thank you very much for that.
You guys, in the last week, you guys have supported more than probably the last month, and we really do appreciate it. We've been busting our butts. We've been doing videos almost every day. We really do appreciate that. Again, we're trying to expand. We would like to, I brought on Dex. I want to bring on more. Thank you, and thank you. You guys know I appreciate it. I can only say it so much without it losing value. But honestly can't say thank you enough.
And you don't forget you got the ones in screener.
Thank you. Run Dinnit, thank you for following. All the new people, lots of new followers over on DLive, lots of new followers on YouTube. I can't even count how many. I can't even shout them out anymore. There's so many new people over there. There is one possible way world conflict would be avoided. Thank you again. Appreciate that. This is just there's too much to go over. It says we'll all be video chatting each other by hologram. Okay, wait. I want to go back to this. Wait a second. So there was a part here that I think I missed. Okay, Melink, and let me get her their position right. Let's see here. It says Melink spoke of conflict. It says of real conflict preparations for a new military attack on Ukraine, which should also be taken seriously in Berlin. So there's multiple big sources coming out and saying that they are not, just puffing their chest. They are actually preparing a takeover. I think right now it is it's like, do we step in or do we not? Ukraine is about to be Russia.
Yeah, and for the people that don't know the reference to Berlin, there was a meeting there where they're trying to resolve some of these conflicts, but I doubt it'll go very far.
And if it does, that's great, and we'll cover it and we'll bring it all back down. I think that people should realize, what's going on and know about this stuff. I don't get how people like my mother-in-law, they have, she reads all the news that gets passed around on Facebook. She reads, she tries to watch, both networks. She's an average person. She does actually try. She considers herself somebody who follows the news, and she didn't know about this. That's crazy to me. I know plenty of people just like it. They're caught up in their own world. We're all caught up in our 9 to 5. We're lucky and unlucky because this is our 9 to 5, and we pay attention to every little thing, and it's like it's not even healthy at some points because it is so stressful. But at the same time, I think I would personally rather be there than not in the know. What do you guys think? Would you rather be blissfully ignorant, or would you rather be somewhat prepared? 1, for blissfully ignorant, or 2, woefully prepared. That's what I'm saying. Man. All right, let's get on to some other really crazy stuff going on. It says, we'll all be video chatting each other over hologram by 2030, experts predict. Mankind could be using holograms to keep in touch before the end of this decade, according to experts. So it's going to be something like out of Star Wars or out of Star Trek. We're going to have these holograms talking to people. And this, by the way, has already been displayed here in 2021. Think about this technology in just a few years, if we're still here. It says, after a year of communicating via video calls, which saw Zoom and FaceTime soar in popularity, tech forecasters are now predicting that holograms will be the next form of virtual communication within just 9 years. Holograms. Dex, like, is there anything that is not going to be happening that was in movies and sci-fi?
Yeah, no, and I'm just envisioning they're going to call it, Apple will call it HoloTime, right? To go with their FaceTime. And then I'm just envisioning, like, I don't know, like everybody uses video conference, but then like everybody doesn't use video conference. Like, like some people do, some people don't. So it's like, you got to get dressed up. You want to, you got to clean up, or do you want to have a full hologram of you? Like you want to be sitting around in your shorts and your nice shirt.
Or, I mean,
right?
No,
like,
well,
I
don't think you have to do that.
The bust up.
I think, I think that you'll be able to be in your boxers, and just like how Zoom, now you can pick your background to be blurry, or you could be, a green screen at a tiki bar or something. They'll have you'll be sitting in your boxers, but you'll click a button and choose on Zoom or whatever, Holo Zoom. You'll choose that you're wearing a nice suit, and you'll be able to change your clothes and dress up. And this is why I said the video games and the video game industry, they're coming out with certain things. There's a game called The Day Before that is kind of a zombie but open world realistic video game. It's not about the zombie thing that interests me. It's this whole idea that they are making these games to where it is so real that, if you end up dying, you die in this world, and every effect, it's an open world, all online, and every person is a real person. It's scary because people are going to get so into this, and then when the technology goes to where it's 3D and you actually feel like you're inside of it, now they are making it to where you can feel it. So if somebody punches you, you get a vibration to the chest, or now they're talking about connecting our brains to it, and you'll actually feel the sensation of being, punched, or you'll feel the sensation of falling off a car. These are the things that are happening now. They have these tread wheels that go, this special tread that goes all different directions, so you can sit there and actually run in a video game without actually moving. This is like Player One. This is like every sci-fi movie put into one. But the scariest part is, like, this is all becoming so real. It's going to get harder to decipher what's real and what's not. And right now, where it's at, it's not even close. Even if you can see the little hairs and the hairs on the face, and the graphics are so good, you have no idea. It's going to be it's already getting to be indistinguishable from real life. And once they connect that to our actual brains, it's over. Matrix.
You said something really important there about when you connect the Neuralink, right? And you're able to simulate feelings. And I'm not talking about emotional feelings, but like you said, not just, using a physical device to maybe tap you on your finger or tap you on the chest to replicate a push, but to make your brain and your nervous systems react as if it did get punched, as if it did feel heat, right? That when that happens, while it may be cool in a game or it may be cool in an environment, you got to take into consideration that if something like that can be done just to help make you feel a real experience, they can use that same technology to do something that can make you feel completely out of your mind in a bad way, like burning, pain, etc., right? Crippling.
It's unbelievable what is happening all around us and the changes that our kids are going to see. It's unbelievable. V9 and VNC, thank you so much for the support over on DLive. Seriously, I appreciate that. Much respect, Adam and Dex. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you. Carolina Roots 74 Jammer 1. You know you don't have to do that. It says paying it forward. Thank you. Corp, thank you. Says Elon's tunnels closed in LA. Closed in LA for mining or trimming? For training. Oh, Dex, pull that up. Can you look up that? It says that Elon's tunnels in LA are closed for training. I want to see that. And then check this out. Giant armed robots loom over streets of rebel-controlled Donetsk on the border of Ukraine. This is where we said that they're loading up with tanks. Has giant armed robots. No joke. Do we have pictures of these giant armed robots, by the way? It
yes,
looks
we
like
do.
It didn't
Next
load
tab.
It. Okay, good. Is this a April Fool's joke? Or is this like a statue?
It's art. It's like a statue. But I think it was Transformers, is it not? If I recall. But yeah, these are towering in the city there. And the first thought that came to my mind is these are kind of cool and they're cool statues, and it's going to be very unfortunate if they go into conflict and we look back, at pictures 6 months, 8 months from now, and and those things, they got the picture of the before and after, right? And things just because somebody sitting in a tank somewhere seeing that's going to be like, yeah, we're targeting that for fun, right?
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Who does that? I mean, like I've seen people do stuff out of car parts, but like out of cars. That is so flippin' awesome. I didn't know they had the GDP.
You would like that one.
I didn't even know they had the GDP to like make that. It looks like they used a ferry for the frickin' gun. That's incredible. That is incredible. Oh man. Dex, the web only content. We've got a lot of stuff here. Do you want to is there anything that you kind of want to tease people to go over there to do?
I think the one thing we hinted at earlier with that expose, there's some stuff there. There's a lot of other interesting things that, and go back, each day we do this. So if you've missed a day of web only content, go back for a day or two, because there's some good stuff there. We try to pull together the things that we can't talk about, or if it's something that's sort of borderline and we just hadn't had time to get it all on the show, we throw it in that category.
Okay, well, so again, go to marfooglenews.com. You can also find all of the information from today. We are closing up on the end. I do want to shout out everybody over on DLive. 1.5 thousand people still watching. We are going to actually probably host over. And then on YouTube, after about 5 minutes of our shoutro, we actually turn it off, and we will still finish out the shoutro over on DLive. If you have not gone over to DLive, I would highly recommend it. Gem, thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't call you out earlier. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the lemon. I love beagles. Thank you for everybody over on YouTube. Everybody on DLive. Ben Jammin, Fly By Me, says, hey, Adam and Dex, thanks again for the awesome show. And let's see here. My girlfriend, Exandra, who's watching, that I love you and things will get better soon. I very much hope so too as well. Kathleen Sim says, dear Dex and Marf, I send protective light and angels every day. Love, blessing, light be the light and never stop shining. Hopefully my batteries never run out, but I know they will someday. Tyler Porter, thank you for massive support, says, would much rather be in the know and aware than blissfully ignorant, which, by the way, everybody answered 11111. It's incredible. And then thank you and for spreading awareness. Tyler Porter, thank you so much. Stiletto Czar says, Mycroft has patent for dead people hologram. Isn't that, yeah, Mycroft. Yeah, thank you for putting it that way. And then Diane Moses says, love you all. Thank your wives for us. Behind every great man is an awesome woman. I would say in front of an awesome woman is a regular guy. Sean Glock, how's the thing like Discord coming along? I need to connect with my like-minded people in southern Missouri. LOL, much love to the Foogle fam. We are getting testers. It is a lot more complicated when we have to be the platform. Yeah, big stuff. We might even do a documentary about this whole process. Thank you, everybody. Dex, thank you so much for all of your support today. Thank you for being an awesome co-host and everybody else.
Much love, brother.
All right, you guys, now it is officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro. Wow, I wasn't expecting that one. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most. It's been a 3-year tradition where I silly freestyle everybody's names. It's something to take your mind off of everything that we just unpacked. So it will be about 5 minutes on YouTube, and then we'll be switching over to YouTube, to DLive. Thank everybody for being here, and thank you guys for your massive support. Make sure to go over to Marfoogle News and subscribe, the other channel. That video has hit probably 70,000 in 5 hours or 6 hours. Make sure to go check out that video. It's shareable. Share it on Facebook. Share it with everybody you know. Share it on a plate to your neighbor. I don't care. Just share it. It has all of the important information from today in a short 10-minute video. All right, love you guys. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out.
The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. The apocalypse is you. The apocalypse coming soon to a city near you. The apocalypse coming soon. It's coming for you. Northern Tiger, Benjamin fly by me. Catalan Sims teleported by me. Still let us all and dynamos, yes, I say. I got the shung lock, a free life task. VRN, everybody blast. This is my screen name and the cowbell. Bring it right back, oh now what the hell. I never did, oh now Sora. Sora budget and pink from me, girl. I did run down the finger. Sing it. Turn back the rap, baby. VRN, I got to bring it. AGM, I'm done, I'm not. And Jetty, I rap, bring bottle. Apocalypse is you. The apocalypse coming soon to a city near you. The apocalypse coming soon. It's coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you. Hey, JC is coming for you. Peter Souza, we all sassy last. Sandy Bollinger, Dwayne Ball. Bring it back now, we got all. Lord to the 417, yeah. AJ Stone all the time, and these are all hard and special. Bones in that rip crow get you. Do it every time I know. Our Central Florida prepper, yo. The apocalypse coming soon. It's coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you. Oshkosh in the summer V. Laura Griffith in the Mr. B. Moonsboro, Carolina Roots. 74 on the guy in the Savior share. Flames you on the 74 and that code. Check yourself with the loyal grip is Cynthia Lynn. Thanks for being on the beginning and the Chwongs in the water mine. Smoky Mountain Gal. Hey Laura Lewis and my shifting mountain pal. Jenna up Chenna and the RJX Sal. Joey on the Jones and the Trish Bay. Bring it right down what you say,
The apocalypse coming soon. It's coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you.
You on a sinking boat, Mr. Jamie on Cole. On the James, on the Bobby, on the Mr. Cole. A Sony on the Jordan, I might be a cat. Maybe I might be fat. Maddie on the Bobushowitz. Bring it down, not turn it into Usher. I'm not gonna say it like this. Ebola outbreak map.com. Bring it down like it in a big dumb mom. Wanna able body, Dable caught R. And to bring it down now, just a little farther down the road. That dark road, don't go in the shack. Or maybe go in that. Don't go up the stairs, go out back.
The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you.
Freedom on the Gara, on the Sandra, on Texas, Nora on the Lewis. River warrior, maybe a Buddhist, blue this, going right downtown, going on loot this, on this, loot this, on this, nudist. Bring it on the beach, now they do this. Speed it up just a little bit, bring it right back now. In God we trust, choose and put it in best in the west up, come on, bring all might be a cat, Jim, bring it like that. Cynthia, Lynn, item, 9 deck, I, Dex day, and the bring back lay, I bring it late, also, or all day, and the K.O. best got 8 never caught her, just a little bit harder, at the one with the Gen F Chandler, freedom green will everybody handler, now I gotta go stand up, Rick, holiday kiss up, bring it on the sister, go out kiss up, gonna bring it down now, I fist up, wait, on no candy sister, going down, everybody knows now. Hey, got a little bit faster. Go right back now, I ask her. This is drama on the apocalypse. Oh, Lord, bring it back now.
The apocalypse coming soon. The apocalypse is you. The apocalypse coming soon. To a city near you. The apocalypse coming soon. It's coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. Jesus is coming for you. The apocalypse coming soon. The apocalypse is you.